Hello everyone, welcome to a free webinar, more of a guidance step on how you can go from manual to automation testing as a skill set in 4 weeks. Um, Nothing that is you're gonna hear new, but more specifically organized that will help you to make a better movement in that direction. What typically happens, team, is the fact that when we talk about manual testing and why we chose that career is a combination of a few things. The first thing is the fact that you are someone who's looking at no coding. You don't necessarily come from a development background. So you tend to pick up things that are more functional and domain related. You would like to focus more on process and how quality assurance is done. So having said this background, automation testing kind of puts this entire thing at kind of a far-fetched. When it comes to automation testing, typically, yes, coding is required. You need to think and act like a developer, and it is more complex with the variety of automation tools in the market. Now, that is a challenge that lies ahead. And most significantly, you don't have something called as a real-time project experience. Because anytime you try and shift a career or a line, we talk about how can you substantiate to the recruiter that you are the ideal fit, the ideal candidate for it. That becomes critical, and it is not easy to for a recruiter to get you on board without having the confidence that yes, you can do it, and the only way you can do it is through a project experience team. Now you help me answer, team, from the audience, why do you want to move? Why, first of all, why move from manual to automation? I want feedback from you, team. You tell me the points, I'm going to add it up here. Is it even essential that, yes, I have to move, or, you know what, doesn't matter? It's okay to be where I am. Tell me, team, what is your honest feedback? Do put your answers in the chat so I can take them. Better pay, all right. What else? Automation is in demand. Okay, that means there are more jobs. Gives an edge over others. This is an amazing point. Every company needs automation. So true. More jobs than manual testing. So I'll just put it like that. More jobs than pure manual testing. Better career path. I'm trying to club some of them together. Reduce manual effort, and that is in fact a good statement, because despite all the selfish motives, we are trying to reduce the manual effort, which the beneficiary is the employer. We talk about agile development needs automation. Rather, automation is much more effective in an agile world. The question is more of why move from manual to automation, team? Let's say main components of the automation can be used for regression testing. Yes, it helps in regression testing. So it's very similar it kind of fits in line. Regression testing has more benefits through automation. This is more in line with agile kind of project. IT industry is moving towards automation. Yeah. There is no jobs in manual. Wow. And I'm writing statement as is, team, not trying to change, because fewer jobs in manual testing and no jobs in manual testing, there's a lot of difference. Execution in no time, that's more like the benefits of automation. Yeah. Not much growth in manual testing nowadays. Tangent career. Manual testing has a stagnant, right? Career. Is that the right word? Automation scripts have to be tested and confirmed, but once done, can test more in short amount of time. Absolutely. And that's the features of automation testing. I'm assuming we all know the benefits of automation. Benefits of automation, if I can sum it, team, I'll always put it into those three words. They give you better efficiency, reusability, and accuracy. These are the three most important benefits that automation brings to us. So having being aware, why do we need to move? The reason should be strong, Tim. If the reason is strong enough, then a desire arises. Then an action makes sense. Automation helps the CI real time using ATDD. That's a great point. Automation helps in continuous delivery, continuous integration in an acceptance test driven world or a behavior driven world as well. Regression is easier, going towards agile, good understanding of projects, skill updation. Sure, you're updating your skills, better test coverage. So that means if we are doing better test coverage, we become better testers. I'm new to testing. I don't know ABC of testing. Want to move to this from non-engineering background? Absolutely. I'll talk about that as well in a few minutes. Great, team. I think most of it is covered. And I agree. I don't think there's anything much that I can add to it. It is as is. One of the most important things, team, that I feel it gives an edge over others. This is one of the primary things. Even if you want to grow in the same company, not necessarily looking for a new job, who will get the projects assigned? What kind of good projects will you get? Get more challenging work is given, is more toward in automation. These things are a big career drive team. And the fact that every company needs automation, some companies just do it for the sake of saying, yes, we do automation. Some do it with a real purpose and a plan in mind. And having a better career growth overall becomes very important as well. All these things are extremely critical, team. And this is a very strong reason. So if we know that moving from manual to automation has so many benefits, then what are the challenges? What are the challenges, team? I've written some above, but I would like to hear. What is the main challenge that each of us face? Some of you are not able to see the screen. Please check it here in team. Automate once and execute in different browsers combinations when compared to manually doing the same task. Yes, that's true. And that's one of the benefits of automation. Disadvantage to automation: it is driven from code, not business functionality. Tested what code is doing, not what it should be doing. Also, automation is not always vetted tested, so is marked as pass when it checked the wrong item. So Sally, yeah, that's an important thing. There are drawbacks to automation too. There are drawbacks to automation, but drawbacks are more human driven drawbacks than the actual automation thing. um, every drawback that you think in automation can be overcome. The main drawback in automation team is the effort involved to get there. That is the main thing, and skill required to automate. These are the main things. Now, personally, what are the challenges that you feel are there in going this route of automation? Scripting, that's what I'm hearing. Knowledge of coding, video testing to be automation is challenging. Automation is not for everything, team. Now, simple example is a factory floor where a car is being manufactured. There's so many machines, there's so many machinery which do robotic things, and they do fitting, assembly, a lot of things. But is it totally human less? No, there are still certain areas where a human is needed. So removing manual testing away totally is never the point. It's not the goal. The goal is to try and make it as efficient as possible. This is an important challenge. Taking time out from job and learning something new, always a challenge thing, whatever be it for moving from manual to automation, or be it trying to get a certification in a new area, and so on. Descriptive programming, or what we call as element identification, when it comes to Selenium. Descriptive programming more specifically to do with um, HP, QTP, and UFT, but then element identification is Selenium. Challenges: understanding the framework concepts and languages like protractor framework and TypeScript. Time constraint. Even if you can code, you have to know where to start. Where to start. Okay, cool. So these are the challenges, team. Now, let me ask a question. I don't know if I have it in the poll, but I'm going to check with you for a couple of quick things in here. This is a quick poll that I want to launch. It should be on your screen. I want you to take a few seconds and answer this, please. Getting a good trainer to understand on end-to-end automation. I'm going to put that too. Team, take a few minutes and please fill in that. I've got about 69% votes, team. On your screen, please mark your answer. Quickly, everyone, you're spending time here. Let it be counted. Let it be valuable to you. So kindly fill in your answer. All right, I've got 85% votes. I'm going to quickly share. So all of you can see it on the screen. All right, as it says, 13 to 19% have some kind of your beginner or no exposure to IT. 19% of you are QA trained, and then 49% of you are working in QA looking to get to automation. So a majority of you are somewhere in the manual testing arena itself. Actually, all of you. Hardly anyone who's able to confidently say, at least in this audience right now, who's an automation expert. And that is what we're trying to discover. How do we make it very simple, a 4 weeks plan on how we can do it? How much time do we need to spend, and so on? There is another question that I wanted to ask, team. Before I do that, back to my screen. I've put in a few more. So while I put this question itself, I want you to give me an answer to it. Where is it? Manage polls. Okay, here you go. I can add a poll question. This I need. I'll change this. The question is, I forgot the question. Yes, now I know. Can you make it manual to automation? Yes, no, not sure. Three answers, team. I'm going to put this question as a poll on your screen in a quick minute. I want you to help me answer that too. So, can you make it launch? What's your confidence level, team? And I'm not trying to just talk about my program, because that is something I am proud of. I personally feel very confident, and that's why I keep promoting it. But I want to hear your opinions as well. What do you believe? And what is your confidence level? And if your confidence is high enough and you're saying yes, then let's figure out how we can do it. And these are live polls, so the questions that you see are the actual questions itself. So team 81% votes in. I'm just going to take a quick second and let you finish that. Okay, close and share. So 81% of you are confident that yes, you can make it. I'm sure that there's some kind of a clause to it, like if I have the time, if I have the right content, if I have the right learning system, and so on. Then 4% of you saying no, that is not a good thing to see, team, but that's fine. My duty is to try and convert that 4% into at least not sure, where 15% of you are there. Last poll, team, just to understand my audience, so I can easily know who is the audience right now. Are you currently a part of my Selenium, JPAC, or CSDT program? It's not upcoming CSD training. It is ongoing. This was an old poll that we're continuing to use. No is fine. Yes is fine. Not yet planning is fine. Whatever you think. All right. I've got 80% votes in. I'm going to close it in 5 seconds, team. Kindly request all of you to put it in the votes. There you go. Close and share. So, are you currently a member? No, only 20% of you are currently part of the program. And I expected a lot more of you from JPAC, CSDT, and Selenium training to have joined. Uh, and that is important, team. If you're watching this video and you're part of the JPAC, CSDT, and Selenium training with IT Learn, then these sessions are important for you to attend, because all the effort that you already put should give direction. That is very important. So what I also see is 52% is no and 30% are planning for it. That's good, because you already know about the program. For those of you who do not, I will talk about it. For now, let's talk about how do we make it happen, team. Very simple. What are the steps, team? How do we require to do it? So first, let's assume that all we have is 4 weeks. Okay. In this 4 weeks, let's talk about you spending 2 hours per day. Okay, into 5, you're talking 10 hours per day. That means 40 hours in total. Question: do you think can you master, let us assume, Selenium plus Java plus frameworks in 4 weeks, team? Is it possible? For me, it would not be possible. I don't think I could have done it in 4 weeks. Then how? If I'm not able to do it, having been with so much of exposure to QTP and so on, why? Because I didn't have a guided tour. There was no guided tour, team. I had to explore everywhere, find the right content, learn in bits. spend time in research, too much of forward backward. So I go forward, then I have to come back again, do correction of fundamentals, and that is the biggest pain. Now if I had the right program, yes, and I'm being very honest, Tim, it is extremely important. That is where a guide is very, very critical. However, if you if you cannot master Selenium and Java and framework in 4 weeks, how can you move to automation? That's fine. You learn what is most essential. Get the right head start. Learn it from fundamentals to advanced. If you can spend 15 hours per week, then we talk about 60 hours, then absolutely. This then becomes possibility. I hope my voice is okay. Someone is saying that it is breaking. There is one PowerPoint that I wanted to show that talks about the learning. Yeah, this is the one. First time as an organization, we're going into the market to look for external funding with our roadmap and the vision that we've created. And this slide is talking about how we grow from one to the other. Let me quickly get that slide up and share that with you. Is my voice breaking for most of you or only for few of you? It's breaking, team. Voice is breaking. Okay, give me 1 second. And here is the slide that I wanted to show you. This is a roadmap that I created as part of how do we go from learning to earning. Be it anything, how do we start and where do we go? The first thing is to classify ourselves. Are we at a very beginner level? And then we can do some basic level training, or are we already at an advanced level? If you are at a beginner level, you finish the basic training, then go to the advanced training. If you're already at manual testing, then you start with advanced. When I say basic, this is new to IT. When I say advanced, you're already in manual testing and you know the fundamentals. If not, then you go from basic then to advanced. Once you do the advanced, what you need to definitely do is practice project. Practice project gives you a comfort with hands-on exposure. You get to do implement whatever we learn through the trainings in that. And see, what I'm telling you, you can apply it anywhere, be it self-learning, be it going to any other training institute or trainers globally. But this is what you need to demand for. You need a practice project. If you do good in a practice project, then you can go for an internship or job. That will give you the confidence. That will also give you some experience on the resume. If you do not do great in it, then you go back and refresh it. This is what is most important thing. Most of the students that have gone through my training have tried to repeat at least portion of that learning a couple of times minimum. That helps them to get better, and the best way for them to test it themselves is about practice project. When you do your internship or job, how do you make that happen? You can have it done through our organization, Verkasa, where we are having internship jobs in our Hyderabad office, at LA, where I am based out of, or it could be virtually where you're working from home as a freelancer. That we can do it through QA on it. Or we look and help you through an open market. And that is where we do help you with your resume preparation, ensuring that how you publish it and how you manage it in different job boards and so on. Or finally, you can also look at opportunities with some of our clients, where the clients have projects and they need skilled resources on it, and we help you get placed there. These are the different opportunities that you have. So if you look at it, it is classified into two sections, team. One till here is training. Then till here is, doing some kind of a practice project work. And finally, you get into an internship or job. So you need to ensure that all these things are being put into your bucket, team. So the three main focus areas is one, training or learning, then practice projects, then real-time projects / internship. Now, how do I differentiate them? What is it? Training or learning is where you're just observing and noting down as to how we need to work on automation. All right. You are learning from blogs, videos, trainers, personal trainers where they do one-on-one coaching, etc. And once you finish that, you apply that in practice projects, where each main topic that you learn, you write a program or framework around it. That is what you need to do. And you repeat this at least 3 to 4 times to cover the entire course. Real-time project, what it does, team, it gives you references, projects that you can place in your resume or CV that clients can look and confirm that you worked at. This is very critical, team. A lot of times we just do one thing, and that is learning. We don't focus on practice or projects and so on. What I have seen typically, team, and the failure has happened when you just do learn basics, then mug up for interviews. What is the drawback for this? A smart interviewer will know in 5 minutes exactly as to if you are true or fake. That's it. The advantage with what I mentioned is that you're showcasing what you know. Even be it a 3-month project, but if you develop the skill that they're looking at, they will appreciate it. And if you can start at a little lower scale, then it is great. After this starts the job hunt, team. That involves preparing CV, posting, attending interviews, etc. All this starts after that. It does not start before that, team. Do note. Now, how do we go about and splitting this into 4 weeks? How do we do this? Let's talk about that. Can you hold on for 1 second? Hope you all can hear me okay, team. All right, so now how do we divide it? So the best way to handle this, team, is from a training aspect, you can divide into modules. Now let's talk specifically about Selenium, for example. You can divide it into 3 modules minimum. First is automation basics, and then element identification, how you look at WebDriver basics. Okay. Then comes programming. And let's say we talk about code Java or JUnit or TestNG. And then you can talk about frameworks. while there are many frameworks, let's talk a data-driven framework, keyword-driven framework, maybe page object model, and overall a combination of hybrid framework. Each of them you can take about 4 to 5 days. For example, this basics, it should take you no more than 3 days. Okay, let's talk about in hours. I would say about 8 hours. This includes both practice and training. Let's talk about only training team. This takes about 4 hours. I'm talking fundamental. Core Java JUnit Test NG, about 8 hours. We're not talking about learning as to become a developer. Note this thing, very critical. Okay, not to become a developer. Yet it will take time. It will take at least 3 months to become very good at coding to become a developer. But how do you get the best start? That is important. So you spend 8 hours on this. Frameworks, I would say another 7 hours. Now that you know the coding part of it, to understand the framework concept, another 7 hours. Talk 15, about 19 hours anyway. Now, out of this, if you can spend at least 10 hours in, as you're doing this, about practice projects, let me write it here, is to, number one, the concept is very easy to think of a true application. What you learn, apply to that app and see how it works. And focus on starting small and slowly growing on it. And then you repeat this for each of those modules. And the fundamental thumb rule for mastering any programming language is, do you know what, team? Some of you should be aware because I keep teaching you this while the training keeps happening. What is the fundamental thumb rule for mastering programming? Practice, yes. So this first thing, step 1, team, is to learn to read the code. This is the first thing, team. Don't try and write the code. Don't start with it. Just try to read the code. Then make small changes to an existing code. Again, you're not writing a code here. You're just trying to make small changes to it. Then write small programs. If you go about this way, then you'll have lesser amount of frustration. If you try and skip any of the steps, it will become tough. Repeat the same, increasing the complexity of programming. That's it. If you're able to spend 3 hours a day and you spend about almost, how much are you talking about? 18, 19 hours. Let's say 20 hours to be on the safe side. Oops. 20 hours in this. And you spend, let's say, an additional 10 hours, because while you're learning itself, you're doing it on practice project, and you spend then a real-time project for about 30 hours. Then I think you're well set. There is nothing to do. What is a real-time project? Referenceable. You work with a team. You get to learn from others. You address and solve your own challenges. Get an exposure to real life projects, and you have much more confidence when you get to interviews.
Now, what happens is when you get to an interview, the fundamental thing I see is in an interview, you are successful if fewer questions are asked and you get to speak more. Why is that? Not because you're not giving a chance for others to speak. It is because people are listening to what you're talking about. They are keen on it. If you speak about what you have done in the project, and then it makes sense. Let us say that they ask you, for a simple example, have you worked on TestNG? Let us assume that you worked on JUnit and not on TestNG. What is the typical answer that one would give? No, I have not worked on TestNG, right? And then you may add saying that, but I can learn it quickly, right? That's all we'll say. Is that correct? Is there anything else that you want to say? You know what I would say? I have not learned TestNG. I have not worked on it. However, there was a project need for this specific client where I had to learn JUnit very quickly and implement it. And using JUnit, I was able to talk about annotations and how the code could be split and what we do before a test, after a test, and so on. I do know that TestNG has some better reporting and so on, but JUnit by itself was doing a great job. That is what the client needed. I learned it very quickly and I implemented it. And I believe hence that learning TestNG, if needed, will not be a big challenge for me. And at the same time, I came from a non-coding background and I had to really learn code Java that was essential for the automation project. And I could again achieve that in a very short period of time. So I had an opportunity to learn Java and JUnit. I did. I did not get an opportunity yet on TestNG, but I'm sure I can do it. See, what did I do? I did two things. One, I gave them the confidence that I can learn things quickly. Second, I spoke more than just a yes and no answer. So the fundamental thing where an interview is successful, where fewer questions are asked and when you get to speak more and so on. Third thing I did is I diverted something I don't know to something I know, which is closely relevant, and then talk a little bit more about that. That changes everything. In this 4 weeks, you may not be able to master everything like I said, but what you know, you should be able to say. Let us say they talked about, have you worked on KDF or keyword-driven framework? You could say, you know what, I have not worked on keyword-driven framework, but I did work on data-driven framework, in which my test data was stored in an XML file or an Excel file, and I had to learn to read that Excel data into my JUnit code and execute the test for those repeating sets of data. I had to put a for loop so I know exactly how many rows are there. I iterate through it, make sure every defect I take it back, or output I take it back and put it back into that Excel. And I also learned how I can do error reporting, error handling. I put try catch block. I am aware that keyword-driven framework is about breaking up test cases into different keywords and try and make reusable functions out of each keyword that we can call. I know theoretically keyword-driven framework. I have not worked on it, but I did work on data-driven framework, and I'm confident that keyword-driven framework should not be a challenge for me. Total different answers, right? Our attitude is, have you worked? Yes, no, but I can learn. What did I say? No, I didn't work. Yes, I can learn, but I point to something that I know each time, each and every time. So the more you get to speak often, the better the difference you're creating in it. Do I make sense, team? Do you agree? Disagree? Give me some comments. The beauty of an online webinar is, number one, no one can see you. Number two, in this case, since the audience is hidden, your comments are coming straight to me. It's just between you and me right now. It's almost like one-on-one. Team, can I hear a yes, no, something? Nowadays, questions are asked around TestNG and POM. So now what do you do if TestNG and POM? Do you go open a blog or look at what are the most regularly asked questions in test engine form and address that? Will you do that, team? Or you try and pick up a project that works on that and then do it. So when you know that that is what it is, then go learn it through a project, whatever be the topics, team, that you believe. I'm giving you what is here. But so do they ask for Maven, Jenkins, they ask for how do you work with Eclipse and GitHub together and so on. It is endless, team. Once you learn and you master something, even be it small, your confidence boosts up. Once your confidence boosts up, and then you believe in yourself that yes, I can learn something new and so on, then that's it. The only biggest investment, team, that I see that you need to make. What is the biggest investment, team? There are a couple of investments. One is money. You need to spend money somewhere, maybe. If not, then it's a little bit more harder. There is time, and then you are taking things away from your personal life. Believe me, team, I even today spend about 12 to 15 hours every day working. I do. It does affect my personal life. With family, spending time on my own fitness and health, I'm having to put it on the side. Not a great excuse. I still try and do my best balance. But for me, I have a very set priority in life. Family comes first, my project, my work, my vision comes next for me. And that is what I try and focus on. Absolutely clear about it. All right. But then anything additional I need to do, I need to compromise with something. I have to do lesser amount of training, or I have to do, outsource some of these tasks that I do daily to someone else, and so on. Now, time, I believe, is of the greatest essence. Now, let me ask you this thing. How much do you think you're valuable on a per dollar per hour, that is? How much do you think? Is it $10 per hour, $20 per hour, $50 an hour, $100 an hour? What do you think? What is your current assessment of time? Even if you are, let's say, in India or Australia or Pakistan or Bangladesh, doesn't matter. What do you think? Shall we take on an average, let's say $40 per hour for everyone? Average. Some at $100, some at $10. Now we're talking 60 hours. So how much is the total, team? The net value of your time? $2,400, right? Now, if you go through a guided tour, maybe it is $2,400. If you do self-discovery at the same, it may take you 100 hours. And then there is $4,000. I'll give you a simplest example, team, in life. Simplest example. How much is the typical gym membership? About $50 a month. In India, it's about $2,000, $2,500 a month. $50 a month, right? What you'll see in a year is some kind of a change within yourself. What if you take a personal trainer? Then the same you'll see within 3 months, but it is $200 a month. So you need to decide as to what is the right solution for you. You have time, you have patience, you want to go invest into your time. If your time is more valuable right now, then look at how a program can help you. And I'm not even trying to market team. I'm telling you the fact. I've gone through this road. I've burnt my hands and fingers. I know the challenge and pain. Today, I refuse to do things on my own if it is new. Okay? Because I know the trouble. I will sit a lot of nights, I'll sit and try and crack something. But after that, I will hire an expert to do it. That expertise is very critical for us. Okay? So that is definitely needed. Now, for you to do this, there is training, like I said, practice project and real-time project. This is very essential. If I go back to the slide, there are 3 things that we have, team, and they are so well linked. Fortunately, in my zone, IT Learn is covering this portion of training, basic and advanced, that we provide. We have 3 main courses that will help: JPAC, CSDT, and Selenium. Of course, there's also HP UFT that we started today morning, or the day one. AnyAuth is a great one for both practice and internship projects. It's a great platform, and I know a lot of you are waiting for AnyAuth updates. I'm going to provide you in the next few minutes. QA On Air is a great platform for open market, for finding other client projects where you can put your profile, and also be a freelancer globally. These 3 platforms combined team creates a perfect atmosphere to launch where you want. Now, learning, you don't have to do it through IT Learn. You can go and do it through a blog, like I said, free videos. IT Learn itself has so many free content on YouTube. We have so much of information there. I've got so many emails and messages from people who just watched the free videos and have successfully could manage to find career in jobs. That's great. That's so pleasing for me. It is one of the biggest highs that I get in life, looking at those things. With this kind of a package, and I'll quickly explain about JPAC and CSDT program, but before that, I'll be glad to take any questions. I have to talk about AnyAuth Orange. Where are we? And AnyAuth Peach. I hope my Trello is up so I can quickly show you what's going on there. Peach, yes, good. Bugs. No. So if there are any questions, let me know, please. So that I don't think the requirements are put here yet. Okay, good. So there's some things that have come here. I'll show you this thing. Let me come back to this. Let me see if there are any questions, please, first, and then this. And if you really want to speak out, team, feel free to raise your hand so I can take the questions. I'll take maximum questions towards the end, but I want to look at this. I want to do this, but I'm afraid of job search. Sure, I think fear is a very important factor. We all need to appreciate fear. The only reason the whole human race has developed, one of the biggest drivers is fear. Fear of something has made us do something. Be it fear of an exam, be it fear of failure, be it fear of kids' safety, anything that we've been afraid of made us do something right. Let's see. I work as a PM. I have a team more than 50 plus, all into automation. Even though I don't need to code, but I wanted to learn so that I can not only do code review, but need to write code also. Is that possible in 4 weeks? Suresh, okay, here is what happens. If you look at yourself as a project manager leading 50 people and try and focus on learning to guide them, it is an incorrect way of thinking. If you try and look at how can I become an automation engineer in 4 weeks, that is a better way. And as an outcome to it, you can also become a better advisor for it. Getting to the level of automation expertise, 4 weeks is fair enough. I'm talking basic expertise. But about 3 months' time, continuing to code will give you that edge. The challenge that I see in your case, Suresh, is that if you learn for 4 weeks or 8 weeks and then you lose your touch, hands-on touch on that, your knowledge will keep dripping down unless you get to keep working. So if you double yourself as also one of the automation engineers, apart from being a project manager, then there is a continuous learning. To do code review, you need to be very strong. It's like saying, how can I be a good code review if I'm not an expert? If you're not functionally good on an application, how can you be a good QA engineer? So if you're constantly in a position to be getting exposed to coding, then absolutely. So look at it from your own learning perspective and then it is going to help you to get there. Now, if you are leading 50 people who are working in automation, that's a great team. So, and I'm sure that you don't want to showcase the fact that you're learning and you're trying to do this. So do it on your spare time, get prepared, get the basics. Don't even tell them that you're doing code review. Do it on the side, even your code reviews and everything for about a couple of months. Get a good hold, and eventually you'll be there. Right? Makes sense? But it will take time. Don't pressurize yourself with just 4 weeks, please. I already have UFT membership taken 1 year back and learning from that. So what should I do now for practice, project, and job? What I'll do, Ashima, is why don't you write an email? We'll see if we can do some practice projects on UFT with what we have as well. We can do those. What we're doing in Selenium, maybe a team, I'm sure with this current training that I'm doing, we also want to do it on HPUFT. Also, how this course is different from your Java Selenium training session you're providing. I'll talk about that. Subhash, because of my biology background. Okay, so there are people that I've seen who want to move to IT and use software testing as the medium to get into IT. And pure manual testing will not help your team. It is worthless. If you're not in IT and you're trying to get into IT and say, I want to learn testing, it is a statement that you should have made 15 years back, not now. If you want to get into IT, and if testing is the field, then automation testing is only way. And don't worry, team. It doesn't matter if you're from biology or a BSc or an arts background and so on. Coding is not that tough. You're not trying to become a developer. You're trying to focus more to become an automation engineer with whatever level of coding is required. I'm going to expand CSV and JPAC. I'll explain on that. So team, let me continue with this and I'll come back to take more questions. That way, we have more time to do that. What is JPAC, team? Very simple. JPAC is one of our first programs that we launched with a lot of focus on job placement and certified training. When we talk about certified training, we're talking about two things. NEOT, certified tester, and NEOT certified developer. ACT is more like knows how to use NEOT. And also talk about what is NEOT very briefly. ACT knows how to build a tool like NEOT. What is NEOT? NEOT primarily is a test management tool. It is Selenium powered automation, and it is automation framework all built into one platform. That is what NEOT. So if you're, let me erase this drawings, might they keep it. If you're NEOT certified tester, you know exactly how to use test management and execute Selenium powered automation. If you're an NEOT certified developer, you're very good in automation frameworks and know exactly. So when you go to interviews, and you should wait for only one question, and then your answer should get you the job. What is NEOT and what an ACT/ASCT? Let us say you put this in your resume saying that I'm an NEOT certified tester or an NEOT certified developer. Of course, everyone is not aware. It's not like as famous as ISTQB, right? They will ask you, what is NEOT certified tester? What is NEOT certified developer? So the next 15 minutes, you're going to talk about this so much, about what you've done, how you've involved into it, that they will automatically know that your skill is high. To become an NEOT certified tester, and what is certified Selenium developer training? Let me talk about that too, then it will be easy. You need to know manual testing. You need to know test management and defect management tools. Oops. Like what ALM, Jira, and so on. You need to know how NEOT ACT works, then you need to get into coding using Core Java and then some basics of JUnit and TestNG. You need to be an expert in automation frameworks. This is what Certified Selenium Developer Training will do. You need to understand how Maven, Jenkins, GitHub with Eclipse works. We need to talk about how we do project management using tools like Trello. That is what we are covering today. You also need to understand what is robot framework and how it has come up with Python scripting basics. You'll also understand what is Cucumber. You'll get a good idea of BDD, agile models, and how you can implement all of these tools into it. Once you know these, then becoming an ACD is easy. So when you talk about NEOT certified tester, automatically you're saying that I'm good in these. When you talk about being an NEOT certified developer, automatically you're saying that I'm good in this. Unless you're good in this, you can't become the certified developer. This tool has been built with a lot of focus team. We have a very, very large team, almost 14 members full-time working relentlessly in developing this product. This is the NEOT Orange version, and I don't know if I have the right credentials right. Let me see. It's trying to log in. I'll do one more demo team on NEOT that I can, do a detailed walkthrough. There is the email that I just saw. Give me 1 second here. I'll explain about 3 versions also that we have and how we're planning to leverage this. Come on. Okay, it is working. All right, there you go. So this is NEOT Orange team. What it basically does is it's got something called as a test planning, where you can set up a test, you can create application on a test, what are the different modules that you can create under it. For each module, you can talk about assigning test cases and so on. And then there are reusable components that primarily become what we also call as the framework components. We have element map that kind of simulates the page object model of page factory. Then we have test data sets that we can create that lets us test the same scenarios for changing sets of data. That's more of data-driven framework. Then we have user-defined keywords that becomes the crux of how keyword-driven framework is developed. And then we have something called as how we set up run as to choosing what we want to run. Every test case or certain test cases, we can choose what sets of test data we want to use to run for that specific test case. Or we can say that I want to select specific test cases in it if they're available and choose them. And then we have the ability to save them as a specific test. And once I follow these instructions and install the desktop app, I can execute whatever I wrote manually without any coding on the system automatically. And once it is done, then you can look at your test results and upload files to it. So for every run, you have a test result associated with it that gives you some great amount of traceability. This is version Orange team. So let me talk briefly about these versions and what we're looking to as internships that most of JPAC and CS6 members are looking at. NEOT has 3 versions. The first is the Orange version. Orange version is a free version. It is a single user, single application version. It has got limited features. The next version is Peach. That is the premium version. So there is a $1 per user kind of a charge. It is for small to medium-sized QA teams. and it has got advanced features. What are those advanced features? A lot of them. It includes things like parallel testing, a drag and drop UX. It talks about how we do execution through different grid-based networks, how we can have better user dashboards and reports, how alerts can be sent to email and mobile apps, and all that is coming. And this is the live production version, which is already there. We have not yet officially sent an email. I will be sending it out maybe later this week or early next week, so people can start using it for various projects, because using Anyot is part of what the certification also demands. Unless you use Anyot in one of your projects, you cannot get certified. Whatever it be, a client project or whatever, you have to implement Anyot, show it like I'm showing you the demo right now. That is when the certification is complete. Certification primarily has three aspects: training, certification test, and a project. That is what you need to do. And finally, the third version that we're coming up with enterprise for Anyot is enterprise version, which is custom. You go and customize something for an end client that requires Anyot certified testers and Anyot certified developers to be deployed on the client project, and it is for much more advanced customization. The client will say that, you know what, I like Anyot as is, but then we want certain things changed, or we want specific things to be added. Can you do it? We'll say, of course, that's what we are there, Workas as a company first. We have a certified testers and developers. We will come, we will do that. Now, for Anyot pitch is what we're looking at. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this. So Orange is ready for use, and we are doing some final bug fixing, which is happening as we speak, very minor one, nothing major. Anyot Peach is where bulk of our time and focus will be now. So if you are already a JPAC, CSDT, or a Selenium member, then you will definitely have the first right to be an intern, to be part of this project. So apart from the 14 to 15 full-time employees that I have in my Hyderabad office working on Anyot Peach, you could join and from anywhere you are, and depending on how you've been placed, what kind of a time bandwidth you have in your skill set, we could work on it. All right, team. So that is Anyot Peach. Let me make sure that I'm recording. Yes, okay. Now, for this, what I will do is we have created something called as, we use everything, we work on Trello team. What we do, for example, I'll show you the Anyot Orange dashboard, right? So these are the major bugs in the web UI that we try to clean up. So almost 110 enhancements and bugs that we have worked on. So there's still a few backlogs. Some of them are non-critical, some of them are. Backlog is before it becomes a good requirement, it stays here. Once we know that we want to take it here, then it goes to requirement. Some of this, we will also move it into the Peach version. Requirements are basically when the requirements are there and it is ready to get into development phase. The development stack is where currently some things are being developed and they're ready for the testing team to test. So then the testing team takes each and everything, tests it. If it is good, then they move it into the live. If it is not, actually let me close this. Why am I? Let me reload it. If not, they'll move it back to requirements or development again. So depending on where the defect is. This is a private project. So once you get into it, we can give you access so you can see and start interacting with other members in it. I'll come to the questions in a quick second, team. I don't want to this is Anyot Orange Web UI. Okay. So almost everything has been deployed, team. We have moved everything deployment. A lot of these features have already put into it. So our team has been working very, very hard to make this happen. We're already doing a lot of client demos right now. We're implementing it for a lot of other clients that we have. So there's a lot of progress happening, team. Plus, I'm into some aggressive recruitment spree, especially on the sales and marketing side, to get this product out into the market in a style. Not that we want to do simple get mass demos and so on. We want to go in a very client-focused way. So this is something that we're working very actively. This is orange. The next one that I was talking about, peach. There is peach here. So there's web UI requirement. Then we started to document. Once we have all this created, and then we will start working on it. So there's certain things already in development stage that the team is making progress on. Every activity that we have is all documented here. So for the JPAC, CSDT, and Selenium Live project members, this will be a great opportunity for you to come and start being involved into this. I will have Saqib or someone send an email, and we will restart with the list that we had. Looking at your skill, we'll start assigning work and tasks for you, and you can work as a team to get it accomplished. This will be great if thing on your resume, if you say that you're part of in your development phase itself. Apart from you automatically will become in your certified tester and developer. So one of the other things that we're starting this week is a new CSDT batch team. CSDT and JPAC batch is starting. And we're also doing NEOT certified tester and NEOT certified developer training. So my focus is more on these two aspects, NEOT certified tester and developer. CSDT and JPAC batches, we have some other good trainers. Shankar and Mahesh will be supporting and handling onto that. But I'm there through and through of this. So that's what I wanted to share, team. So irrespective of IT Learn or Workasa, even if you're doing your own learning, just look at what I've mentioned and what you really need to do. What is critical for you is to know the reason why you're doing it and be very motivated and self-disciplined to go about doing it. If you're interested in some of these programs, the sales team will definitely send across the details, and you can get back to us with any questions that you have. All right, team, ready to take any questions that you have at this point? Let me know if there are questions that have been put earlier and have not answered. Kindly take a minute and repost it here. Atlassian tools, yes, both Jira and Trello are Atlassian tools. Okay, as part of JPAC team, the good thing about JPAC is everything, all IT e-learn courses fall under JPAC. So you have an unlimited access to every training that we do, every project that we do. So JPAC is our most valuable program, and you'll have access to everything as part of it. Is there still a market for HPUFT or desire to know this? Yes, there is a market. I've shown this in the HPUFT orientation session that I did last week. Is Selenium better to know than HPUFT? I think Selenium definitely has a great market compared to HPUFT or any other tool. Selenium still rules, there's no question. But HP has its own market too. Let's see. Is Selenium okay? If the 4 weeks is not enough to finish JPAC, JPAC will take more than 4 weeks, because you also need to get guidance on how to build a resume, how to prepare for interview, and so on. So it will go on. It will keep going. But at least in the 4 weeks, what I'm saying is, if you know manual testing well, it's easy to become an automation tester in those 4 weeks period. Can I join as an intern of any speech without registering in JPAC or CSCT? If you're a Selenium member, at least then yes. The reason is very simple. I need to interview, and I'm sure that there'll be certain skills that may not fit. The way we develop this is the way we also structure the training. But if you're someone who is interested to work in any speech but not part of the training, we'll be happy to interview you. If you fit well, then you're more than welcome. Also, how this course is different different from your Java Selenium training session you are providing? So it's very simple, team. Java Selenium training is level 1. CSDT takes you a few steps higher, and then JPAC gives you everything. So there are 3 different layers to that course. What is the training cost? So the training cost, everything is there on the website, but I know till 25th of this month, if I'm not wrong, there's a special that early bird thing that we were doing. So the sales team will send you the details and you can take a look at it. JPAC program duration, JPAC is unlimited. It will keep going. I believe it's a 3-year access for a single year access. There's so many things to learn as part of JPAC. I would say JPAC will take at least 2 months because the focus is also not just on certification training, but also on placement. And CSDT stands for Certified Selenium Developer Training. How to become a Selenium developer, but also get a certification. Just CSDT is enough to get a job? I strongly believe so. I strongly believe that CSDT is sufficient to get a job. You do CSDT well, you have a great skill that you can showcase in the market. What do you mean by Selenium member? What I mean is someone who's part of a Selenium training program and Selenium project work. What is the start date to JPAC and CSDT? I believe it's starting on the 25th. Both these programs are starting on the 25th, coming Monday. What website for JPAC? Just go to itlearn.com. You'll find all the details from there. So this 4-week training falls on which category? CSDT? Yes, it falls on the CSDT. That's correct. Are they tough to communicate with regarding the project assignment? Are they tough to communicate? There's a lot of communication that is essential. Once you're part of the project, there's a lot of coordination, communication that is going to happen, which is very critical. Which is preferred, JPAC or CSDT? It's a very simple team. It's like, go to a restaurant and do you want the buffet? You know that you can't eat everything, but then let's say you've not had, or you want a good solid meal, then you'll go for the buffet. Or you'll go for a la carte and say, I want this and this. Price-wise, it will be very minimal difference. It's just that how much do you need, what capacity you have to learn and so on. The main difference with JPAC that CST does not give is job placement assistance. itlearn will conduct Selenium certification, that is correct. Manual to Selenium developer and CSDT means the same. Manual to Selenium, okay, CSDT is also for basic. Someone who's not in manual testing also will start there and then go. But if you're already someone who's comfortable with these topics like manual testing and test management and so on, then we can start straight with core Java and get into ASCD. The JPAC course starts from Monday, that's correct. Both JPAC and what happens is JPAC is not a different course, CSDT is not a different course, Selenium is not a different course. Selenium is under CSDT, CSDT is under JPAC, and we're starting that new training from Monday. Any other questions, team? If I can't make it to the session due to the Eastern Time Standard, when is the next JPAC begin to? Any time you come, it is the same issue. The timings are different. The people in UK, Australia, they face significant challenges because of the timing as well. But what you do is you take through the videos, but then you interact with team members in your time zone, the live project and the real project. How long can we revisit the recording? The recordings typically with all courses come for 1 year, and yearly renewal is maybe about 20% of the course fee that you pay for each year renewal. Can we access this recorded session? Absolutely. What you need to do is just go to youtube.com/qtplearn and become a Now the subscriber there, as soon as we put any of our free videos, you'll get a notification. The exact dates and time and schedule team, I'll have my team share with you all.
Hello and welcome to a brand new program from IT Learn. My name is Karthik and I'm here today to present to you a course that I've designed particularly.
Okay. I think it's loading automatically. All right, how long can we leave it there? What is the time? I mean, when is the next training to start after this one? There's the next training. It's an ongoing activity. Every 2 months we have to do it. I'm not sure how many of you have seen the Vision 2020 video that I created when I was in India. It is important for us to get as many students as possible and keep training them, because that is what will get us more demand into building the right team to take any out into the market. So as much as you need training, we need real qualified individuals to help us execute this. Both are essential. All right. Hopefully, team, most questions are answered. Further questions, we'll try and try and put them together and share it across. I hope IT Learn team, I'm not sure who's joined. Is there anything else that I've missed to mention? Let me know, please.
No.
If not, we can. Oh, great. Thank you, Ashna. So we'll kind of document everything that we have and send across. And I'll wish you all the very best, everyone. I'm sure just boost up your confidence the way you kind of approach your learning. Because if you believe it is going to change your career, then give it a good hard try. That is what life comes up to us and knocks on our door sometimes. We have to take the best use of it. And if you learn it the right way, I'm sure you will succeed. If not 4 weeks, 8 weeks, but then you will. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. We will communicate with all the other details that you need over the email. Please keep checking our emails and look forward to having you part of one of our training programs. Take care, everyone. Bye now. Have a great evening. Bye all. The Word document will be part. Yes, I'll put it as part of the YouTube video when I upload it. Thank you all. Bye then.